In this video, I'm going to show you how to turn on the envelope feature within your One Goal Finance app. If you aren't aware of what managing your money with envelopes is like, it's kind of old-fashioned, but incredibly effective. Basically, whenever a paycheck comes in, someone who uses this method will actually withdraw cash out of their bank account and split it up across their spending envelopes. We're talking envelopes for groceries, gas, rent, etc. Then they live their lives based on how much they have in each envelope. If the groceries app is running low, they have to tighten up their spending on food, or they have to lower another envelope's balance in order to pay for groceries. Regardless, using envelopes is based on cash flow. You can only spend what you have in your envelopes, and thus you can't go into debt or further into debt with this method. All right, let's jump into the app and I'll show you how to turn it on. Now, if you open the app, regardless of what page you're on, all you have to do is tap these three lines on the upper left, go down about halfway and tap Settings. Under the Settings section, there's a toggle for envelopes. Mine's off right now, so we're just gonna tap that to turn it on. Now, immediately it'll come up with a page to show us the accounts that will go into our envelopes. Now, you can actually keep all of these accounts, or you can remove any accounts that you don't want to have split up across envelopes. Like maybe you have an emergency fund that you don't want to split up across envelopes. In our case, we'll just keep all of these accounts in it. It shows us the total amount available for our spending plan here at the bottom. Then we tap next and it takes us to funding our envelopes. At the top, it shows us our runway, and this is the amount that's available in all of the bank accounts. They call this the runway because just like for a pilot, the more runway that you have, the better. Now, the goal is to not use your whole runway. The goal is to have runway left over if you need it. And the more runway you have, the easier it is to save for things that are important to you, like vacations, retirement, or vehicles. Below the runway, you have categories that you already set up. Now, based on the amount that you said you would need in each category to cover your expenses, One Goal calculates the amount that you'll need to fund each category each week. Ideally, you'll have enough in your runway to fully fund each category, but we know that isn't always the case, which is fine. If you have only enough to partially fund some categories, you just tap the plus $0 and specify how much you want added. In this case, for auto maintenance, it says that we need to add $34.62 per week. We're just going to fund it with $20 for now. Now, $20 is added to the auto maintenance and removed from the runway. Now, let's fully fund the rest of these categories. All we have to do is tap the dollars per week at the lower right of each category. Now, the rest of these are fully funded. Let's tap Next. Next is our Bills tab. Some of your bills may show past due based on the due date that you put in your category. All the more reason to fund those envelopes first. And for good measure, we're just going to fund the last three as well. Last, let's tap Next, and that'll jump us to our Spending tab. This is where all the categories are that you'll need for your regular everyday living. Things like clothes, groceries, restaurants, transportation. Let's fund all these since we have plenty in our runway. And let's jump back to savings and fully fund our auto maintenance. Now, when we go back to spending, all we have to do is hit Fund Categories. Ta-da! Our envelopes are fully funded. Now, as transactions come in, we can assign them to different envelopes. This envelopes feature is going to be especially effective if you're struggling with overspending. The problem that a lot of people experience is that when they look at their bank accounts, they think that they have more money to spend than they actually do. I mean, a lot of that bank account balance is already tied up in future bills and savings goals. With envelopes, it gets you away from making purchasing decisions solely based on the amount that you have in your bank accounts, and rather gets you into making purchasing decisions based on the amount that you have saved back for specific purposes. If you stick to only spending with the money that's in your envelopes, then it'll keep you from overspending with money that you don't have. Set up those envelopes and fund them every week as you get paychecks. If you overspend on groceries, find another envelope that has some extra funds and transfer some funds over to your groceries. For example, right now I only have $115 in my groceries envelope, but I made a $152 trip to Kroger. Well, when I drop that in there, it shows that my grocery category exploded. It says I overspent, but all I have to do is say Fix Now. Now I just find another category, maybe gas, and tap Move Money. My gas is a little lower, but my grocery bill is covered. That right there is one way that envelopes helps you stick to your spending plan, and that's envelopes.